What's up? What's up? What's up? Today I'm going to be talking about my programming journey, and I've gone from being a student to a senior data scientist for the parent company of AdBlock and AdBlock Plus in 6 years. I have learned so many lessons. I think my journey is very atypical. Hopefully, it can show you, regardless of the job market, that you can make impossible things happen because I did. And if I can do it, you can do it. I've also got some notes. Let's start with first year. I went to a university called the University of Warwick. It's in the UK. I did maths there. It's a good university for maths, which is what I thought when I was applying, and the entry requirements high, whatever. So I went. I had good grades and I went there. And I thought programming would be a good skill to learn. So I picked it up in my first year, and I ended up doing a Java course. And I don't know what to tell you. I took the answers of GitHub. Dude, statute of limitations is over, man. What are they going to do? It was a long time ago, and I struggled through the course. I also had shoulder surgery during that course. And so I was like programming with like one hand during Easter break, trying to get my final assignment done. And I just thought, fuck this, fuck this. It doesn't matter. And that was it. I didn't even touch programming for another 2 years until the last semester, or like the second term of my final year. I had gotten no internships, no jobs, no nothing, and I had no idea what I was doing with my life. And I had heard this machine learning or data science thing was a cool idea. So I thought, let me try it. I saw a few videos of a neural network playing like Super Mario, and my friend was taking the course, and I thought, yeah, why not? I'm gonna take the same course because I really wanted to do it. And I had to go and beg the computer science professors to actually let me take the course. I had no programming experience with Python. I was traumatized by Java. The CS professor said, okay, if you can learn Python, go, yeah, come, let's go. You're going to have to know it when you start. I went into this machine learning course and I got a grand total of 50. I got a 50 in the ML course. It was terrible. I was so bad. My programming skills were really shit. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just trying to get by. Again, I was stress applying for jobs and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I've been where you've been. This is the main key element of what I'm trying to tell you here. I've been where you've been. Like, I can empathize. I can't empathize with the exact situation, but dude, I've been there in the trenches, sending hundreds of applications. This is the final semester. I was doing exams. I had 14 maths exams and I'm just trying to survive. I'm doing Muay Thai quite intensely. I'm on the exec. I have a lot of responsibilities. I live far away from campus. I don't have a lot of money. Like, my academics suffered. And so in my final semester of my final year, I find this internship, and it's for RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, but it's based in the UK, and it's for a data science position, and I just apply. I get a first round interview and I talk to the data scientist and he likes me and we get along. And I've learned some things from my machine learning course that, I kind of just word vomit onto him. And he's like, yeah, sure. Sounds good. And I'm like, okay, shout out my man. I then went to the second round interview where I spoke with the HR person, which was kind of strange, I think. I think it should have been HR first and then the technical, but whatever. And then I spoke to the hiring manager. And me and him really got along. And shout out the hiring manager. Can I say his name? No, I'm not going to say his name. It's fine. Shout you out, man. You know who you are. And he liked me. And he gave me a job offer to do that internship. I still remember sitting down in my room, looking at the email. And I just shouted, yeah, I'm going to Canada. Because part of the internship was that they fly you out to Canada and you get to present your project and you get to meet people and network. And that was amazing to me because I'd been rejected for 3 years for everything I had ever done. And it quite literally changed my life. Again, you can send off hundreds or thousands of applications. I'm still getting rejected for summer internships I applied for in 2017. So trust me, I get it. And yeah, I got this job offer. So fast forward, I'm going into this role. I think I'm going to learn a lot about programming. I'm going to meet loads of data scientists. I'm going to be put on tasks where it's low responsibility but high learning, especially for a newbie, right? I clean up some of my programming skills. I try and self-study whatever I can self-study, not knowing what the hell I was getting myself into. And I go to this internship and it's not very tech focused, actually. It's a very business focused internship. They wanted to use technology to disrupt something in the bank. And it's a bank, right? Nothing's actually going to happen. But part of the game was to come up with a solution and do this stuff. And we spent 8 weeks sticking around and I haven't learned too much programming. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Am I even going to get a job? All of this stuff. But I was having a lot of fun along the way. And I was just really looking forward to this Canada trip. And part of this internship had all of us building a solution, right? Like we were in teams of 4. And one day, something just possessed me. Me and my friend, or my friend and I, went and rewrote all of the code. And we just pulled something out of the hat. And we had a problem where we had to match clients across different databases or whatever. And we tried to come up with a hashing algorithm, match people based on these hashes, like give probability scores like, oh, these hashes are quite similar. So, maybe you should check them out. We took that project and we went to Canada with it, and we presented it in front of everyone, and we got laughed at because it was so shit. The project itself was fine, but the presentation was god awful. We redid the presentation, shout out my team, and like I'm rehearsing lines in front of the shower at like 2 a.m. and I'm blasting cold water into my face, and I'm just like, big data causes $3 billion of damage a year, or 3 trillion. I don't know. I forgot the lines now, but back then I knew him. Something felt different. We went into that first round of presentations after we got laughed at through the practice presentations. We went into that first round and we absolutely smashed it. We got loads of claps, we got loads of praise, everyone was shocked, and we rode that high and got into the final 6. And then we presented our project again, and it was an amazing experience. Our team presented in front of a few hundred people, like 600-700 people, maybe 800, and we ended up winning one of the awards. And off the back of that, I went up to the CTO of the bank and I was like, yo, I want to work in Canada. And he's like, okay. And I was drunk, right? Like it's a networking event. And I was 22, 21, and I was dumb. But sometimes ignorance is bliss. And so I was hammered, and I just went up to this guy and I asked for a job. And 2 weeks later, I had a job offer in Toronto. And I'm from the UK. And I have this option of pursuing a master's or just dropping out and moving across the world and starting a job. And the reason I was pursuing a master's isn't because I was so passionate about mathematics or talented, to be honest. Instead, I was just lost. And I was pursuing a master's because I was lost. And I had so much ignorance because I had no understanding of what this field is about. And no one told me, because I don't think anyone knew. People were fumbling around, especially when an industry is new. And so I got into this position where I had this job offer and I didn't have to go through a master's. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I called my professor and I dropped out the moment I got my 3rd year results. And I was like, yo, I got a first. Okay, peace out, brother. I'm out. I got 70.1. So I got my grade and I had a job. And I was like, okay, adios, everyone. I'm going. And I go to RBC to work as a full-time data scientist at 22. I dropped out of my master's. That's how I got my first job. I asked for it when I was drunk after a good internship performance, to be honest. I networked my ass off. I made loads of good friends, some of whom I still speak to today, to be honest, because I moved to Canada, so I had to meet some people, right? And that started my career. And I was so fucking ignorant. I had no idea. I didn't deserve a job. And I'm saying that type of situation might not exist anymore. You have to be way better than me. That's why I'm preaching what I'm preaching, because I'm trying to tell you what no one told me. And I want to teach the philosophy of data science so you understand why you're doing what you're doing, instead of me just going through a bunch of maths and being like, do you understand? Like, if you understand why you're doing what you're doing, it's going to come out so much better, because data science is an art as much as it is a science, because you have to choose how you model the problem. And you have to use business knowledge or whatever to translate a business problem into a problem of fucking lines and shapes and graphs. And it's a very unique domain, but it's very special. And I really do enjoy it. But I had no idea what the fuck I was getting myself into. I just thought model.fit. I was a .fit data scientist. And 100% I didn't deserve it. But those days are over, right? Like, people have to be good now just because AI is around and hiring has frozen, and you just have to stand out now. And I was able to stand out not because of my technical skills, maybe partly because of my technical skills, but mostly because of my communication skills. And that's also something I want to communicate to you guys and girls, to you, them. I don't know. I don't know. Communicating is what will help drive your career. Technical skills will help you start and will help you thrive, but there is a glass ceiling on a technical skill set unless you're going to be a principal engineer somewhere, and there's only like 9 or 10 principal engineers in the country. So like, unless you're at the top, communication is your biggest leverage to move up in your career. And no one told me that as well. So I'm here telling you that, especially at the start of my career. I was the type of employee that when my manager first told me, let's take it offline during a stand up meeting, I was there and I was like, guys, why are we taking it offline? We can just talk about it right now. I didn't realize take it offline meant shut the fuck up. Let's talk about it outside. I was very ignorant and I want to pass these lessons on because I fumbled so much. I've tripped and fell and wandered around, and now I've got all this experience that I want to share out. So that's is partly why I'm doing all of this stuff. And I also want to talk about other things, but it's something I really care about. I really like helping out the next generation, whether it's through, tough love or through, empathetic guidance. It's a mix of what I have to offer, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm in this first job and my work permit is attached to this job. And I see all these people around me going to Google and Meta and Amazon and all these places. And I get introduced to the tech world and I understand what FANG is. And I understand, oh, you can get stocks and RSUs. And I'm just here in this banking job with this visa attached. And I see all these people fly. They're flying. And I'm just like, damn, I wish I had that. But I couldn't. And it's okay. I was stuck to a visa. It's cool. 3 years later, though, I got my permanent residency. And I spent a lot of time at RBC learning about what not to do. Data science in those early days in 2019 and 2018, whatnot, people were still trying to figure out what to do with it. Some of the best companies in the world had great returns on investments, but some of the, standard companies that don't have a lot of risk tolerance, they wanted to get in on the hype, but they didn't know how to leverage these assets in an efficient way. And so I went through 5 reorgs in 3 years, and I really learned what not to do, which is valuable in its own sense. But a lot of the ignorant, can-do, wanting to learn everything attitude was beating the fuck out of me, to be honest. I just felt so bad and I felt so sad and I just became so jaded with the industry. And then once I learned a little bit and I started seeing what was around me, I was like, this is not it, dude. I need to go somewhere where I'm going to learn. And the moment I got my permanent residency, I left RBC, not because the people were bad or my managers were bad. Like I had fantastic managers by the end of it. It's just the fact that I needed a fresh start and I needed to discover that love again, or I needed to feel useful, like really useful. So I was interviewing around with some of the big tech companies, some startups, and I got a few offers and I chose to go to a company where I would be the second data scientist. And I found it like an incredible mentor. I found a great team of people. I learned so much because when you're the second data scientist somewhere, you got to get your shit together quick. And I did. And my time at RBC, I didn't fluff around. I spent learning. I spent my time after work learning about data structures and algorithms. I learned more about stats. I learned more about programming. I learned about what the hell is actually going on in these algorithms. I learned as much as I could because my degree didn't teach me that. My degree taught me how to learn. Actually, that's a lie. My degree just taught me that I can do hard things, whether it was cramming for a crazy exam or memorizing a crazy proof or understanding very difficult topics and explaining it to people. That's the confidence my degree instilled in me. And so I went and I scoured the internet and I was learning how to program. And that's what university is missing, because what I was seeing at work wasn't anywhere close to what I was seeing in university. They're completely different worlds. University exists to teach you a subject in its purest form, not to fucking get you job ready. And I spent 3 years at RBC after work getting job ready and having fun and doing all this sorts of shit, and traveling and all this crap, but getting ready. And when I got to this new role, I had a solid foundation in all of these things. I was a senior data scientist and I started going to work and I stumbled again at work and I was stumbling again. And the thing is, for the first 6 months, when you're trying to understand the data model and you're trying to understand how the business works, you're going to stumble. You're going to make mistakes. You have to make mistakes. You make mistakes to learn fast. The age where you learn the most is between 0 and 5, is because you don't give a shit. You just go and try and try and try and fail and fail and fail and adapt and learn. If you don't fail, you're not going to learn. And that's why I preach that so much in my videos. All right, what's next? So I got my visa. I got to this company called Blockthrough. It's a startup. I'm the second data scientist. I'm learning a lot. I'm doing a lot. It's a very stressful job. I stumble around everywhere. I'm still fucking things up. I'm still learning. My manager was incredibly patient and kind with me. And yeah, like my love for data science kind of got reignited. And now Fast forward 2.5, 3 years, we've been acquired by the parent company of AdBlock. So now I work with AdBlock data, I work with AdBlock Plus data, I work with Block Through data, and I've been exposed to so many varieties of data science that it's not just model.fit and reduce the accuracy. Like there is so much nuance, and it's such an art form. Truly, it's such an art form that I grew to appreciate what data science really was. And it wasn't model.fit, it was translating a business problem into a mathematical problem. After my 2.5 years, I'm still here, and I do love it. It's a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. I have a huge passion for teaching, and I want to just get it out there. I want to tell people about my journey, and I want to tell people that in my 6 years as a data scientist, the industry has evolved literally every year. Every year, something new has come out. Every year, the company is trying to capitalize on something new, whether it was a big company or a small company. I've effectively worked in 3 companies right now, and every single one of them wants to capitalize on the new hot thing, but it's tough to find a use case sometimes. It's tough. You can't fit a circle into a square. Like you need to have a circle to fit the circle into. You don't take a solution and cram it into a problem. You look at the problem and let the solution manifest. And so, with all of these 6 years and how things have changed and how AI is coming, and it is coming, it's here. It's oh my God, it's here. Like, there are people on Twitter talking about their small businesses where they don't need to hire people anymore. They can just like get Devin with Cursor and Claude Sonnet 3.5 to like code up everything. I pulled a rabbit out the hat when I needed a job that was gate kept by having a postgrad degree through unusual experiences and putting myself out there and leveraging what I was really good at. That's what you have to do now. And in an age of content and attention, the way you're going to get noticed is by posting your shit online, it's by posting on LinkedIn, it's by posting on Twitter, it's by networking actively and not following the traditional path. The traditional path is dead. I cannot stress to you enough, you applying for 20 jobs and feeling productive is actually a massive fucking waste of your time. You need to find your own story because it's only going to get harder and harder and harder to get into this industry. They're really getting rid of the junior roles, the mid-level roles, because we don't need that anymore. You need to think about why they need you. Before, what they needed to do was they needed to just absorb talent so other people can get talent. But now they don't need to do that, and they don't have the resources to do that. So what they need is productive employees. And the way they're going to be productive is by knowing shit. And so I'm also going to be here teaching about what the fuck I know. So I hope that gives you some insight into what the hell's going on. My programming journey was very atypical, I think. And I definitely back myself. I've learned a lot, but I have so much to learn. And as I learn, I want to give that back and give back already what I know. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Peace, and I'll catch you next time.